Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new, my name is Courtney, and today we're going to be using some ripe bananas to make banana bread. No, I'm kidding, we're not making banana bread. Although we can make banana bread if you want. But today we're going to be making frozen chocolate covered bananas. They are super delicious, a great frozen treat, and they're super easy to make. So let's get started. So I have a bunch of bananas. We came back from vacation and they were ready to go. They have some brown spots. Usually people will make them with banana bread or muffins. Now you don't want them to be too spotty because they'll be a little too sweet and a little too strong tasting, but if you like that, that's totally fine. You could still use them. What I like to do is peel all of them, and then once I have them peeled, I will cut them in half. Bananas are uniquely shaped. They're not the same shape. Each one is going to be a little different. So here you could see me really trying to maximize the space on my baking sheet because I can't fit a bunch of baking sheets or a bunch of trays in my freezer. I need to use just one. And I also like to take off any little stringy or fibrous pieces because I just feel like they're not as yummy on the popsicle. I don't want to eat a string, so I just remove those. I don't eat them when I eat a fresh banana either, but if you do, you could leave those. So here I am again, just moving everything. I could have easily just put them on the sheet pan and probably used 2 or 3, but by doing this, I'm making sure like they each curve into each other and they fit nice and snug. And when I say snug, there's still a little bit of airflow in between them because if you put them too close together, they will freeze together and it may be hard to pull them apart. So each of them have a space where I could fit like probably a popsicle stick in between, just making sure they're not connected because then they'll freeze together. This is the last banana and I'm like, gonna rearrange just a little bit more. We have a little bit of space right there. So I'm gonna add this final banana. Now, you do not have to make this many frozen chocolate covered bananas. My family loves them, so that's why I'm making a bunch. Now I'm going to take a popsicle stick and insert it into each banana. And when I do that, I still keep them spaced apart. I just know that there's enough to fit on here. I'm going to put a piece of parchment underneath them and then another piece of parchment over top and then place it into the freezer. I like to freeze this for about 3 or 4 hours until they're frozen solid. Then I'm going to use a double boiler method to melt some chocolate. I'm using some coconut oil. Now, if you don't like the taste of coconut oil, make sure you buy one with a neutral taste. I like this one. So I'm using 12 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate with about 2 tablespoons of the coconut oil. Now, if you wanted it to be a thinner consistency, you can do about 1/4 cup. I went with 1/8 cup because 2 tablespoons is 1/8 cup. Or you could even use something like avocado oil or vegetable oil, and then it'll be much softer. My kiddos wanted to try some bananas frozen without the chocolate, and they enjoyed it. So now we're gonna actually dip them in the chocolate to make the frozen chocolate covered bananas. And I like to put it into a little mason jar like this, so it makes it easy to dip. Now these bananas are ready to go and ready to enjoy as soon as you dip them. So you literally could just make the dip them, and then enjoy. Now, if you wanted to add toppings, the best time to do that is when it's still wet and not dull. So it has to be wet and shiny. And as you could see, I could not add anything to the ones on the left, but I could still add it to this one that I'm dipping right now. If I want to add things like chopped nuts, sprinkles, coconut flakes, you can add whatever toppings you prefer. We just like to keep it simple and just do the chocolate. As you could see, it still has a little bit of time to dry. It doesn't happen instantly. The colder the banana is, the quicker it will dry. That is why we freeze them. But as you could see, this one already like just in seconds, probably like 10-15 seconds you have to add those toppings. These are all done and ready for the freezer from that 12-ounce bag. This is how much we got. It is a great amount. And then what you can do is put them into a freezer safe container. I like using just a container, but you could also use stasher bags. I love my stasher bags, but they kind of get messy in there. And I like using just this plastic Rubbermaid container. I'm not a huge fan of plastic, but for things like this, where I'm using the parchment paper and needing it to be easy to access, it is perfect and easy to use. And when I say easy to use, it's because my kids love these frozen chocolate covered bananas. They can go right to the freezer, open the container and grab one. The
glass containers that I have are a little bit more heavy and they can get very cold with their hands, so I prefer to use the plastic. Now what I'm doing is I'm just laying it on a piece of parchment, alternating them, so one goes up, then the other one goes on the other side, and that is the best way that I have found to freeze these. Some people like to use individual little bags. You can also do that. I know they sell them and it's just like called popsicle bags, so that is another great option as well. I find that this is just more user friendly, and I've already used the parchment, so it's great to reuse it if you can, and then I can keep reusing this and refilling it. Now, if you didn't want to go through the hassle of melting your own chocolate and adding in the oil, you could also use something like this banana. Now, I will say that these are a little tricky. I felt like I had them in the hot water for about 5 to 6 minutes. It says 3 to 4 minutes, but I kept making it warmer and warmer, and I still got a bit of chunks. 2 of these containers, which is a box each, fit in my jar. So I think I got a little bit more with my 12-ounce chocolate bag and the coconut oil. And on their pictures, it does show that they don't fully dip it. They leave a little bit of banana on the bottom. So I could have left a little bit more banana on the bottom. I had a lot more left. This one wasn't quite frozen, but I picked it up and I'm putting it in the same way as I did the other container. But this one is just a little bit larger because I had a little bit more bananas. I will be honest, I thought I would be able to fill this with all of the bananas fully covered, but as the end, you could see I have like 4 bananas that are like barely covered, but that's fine. My family will still enjoy those. They have a little bit of chocolate. You could even just drizzle on the chocolate. That is another option. It doesn't need to be completely covered in chocolate. It could be drizzled too. Again, you don't have to make a ton of these. You can make them as you want or just do a small batch. We love frozen chocolate covered bananas, so I like having them in the freezer. They freeze beautifully, and it is just nice to be able to go into the freezer and say, here's a refreshing frozen treat.
Here's our frozen chocolate covered banana. Once they're done, you could just stick them in the freezer and grab them whenever you want. You don't have to pay for like that $7 box, or if you're down the shore. I think my husband spent $8 something for one, so I went ahead and made a bunch. My dad used to love these, and they are just so good. So I'm going to show you, and when I say used to, it's because my dad's no longer here. He would still love them, and I would love to make them for him. I'm not going to get upset. Maybe I will. But yeah, this is one of my dad's favorites. Go ahead and take a bite. It is so good. You can see that nice layer of chocolate on the outside. That shell just cracks right open when you bite right into it, and the creamy banana on the inside. Now, if you wanted, you could go ahead and add a little bit more coconut oil to thin it out. You could even use vegetable oil, but I prefer using coconut oil or avocado oil. Coconut oil gives it more of that snap. Now, if you wanted to have it a little softer, I would go with avocado oil, and it's just so good. Very good. My mother-in-law said that. She goes, Shout out Maurice. Love ya. I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy the rest of this. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you and have a great day. Bye, friends.